All right, beautiful students. This is Mrs. Milligan once again with a riveting review of Part 1, Book 5. And specifically, I just wanted to go over a couple things before we moved on to Part 1, Book 9, and worked on some hero evidence. So, for the last part that you read, I know you already actively read and submitted this, but I just wanted to go over a couple things with you. Specifically here, with the setting. Okay, it's given to you in the summary here in the beginning of Book 5. But the setting for an epic is very interesting. It usually will start in medias res. And what does that mean? Well, in medias res basically is an Italian or Latin saying for in the middle. And you'll notice that the story starts in the middle of things. Odysseus has been stuck on Calypso's island for 7 years. But the main turning point of his journey home, which is his main conflict, has not happened. Okay? His whole goal, right, is to get home and claim his throne. And so there has to be a major turning point. But epics always start in medias res, or in the middle, and as Odysseus' story starts, he has been stuck on Calypso's island for 7 years after traveling home from Troy. Now, with that said, Book 5 is all about Hermes delivering the divine God message from Zeus's mouth to Calypso that she is to help Odysseus build a raft and allow him to leave her island to head home. And this entire beginning part talks about Hermes, and it talks about how he flies, okay? And it also gives a nice poetic description with lots of imagery as to what Calypso's island looks like. And as we scroll down here further into Book 5, we notice that as he actually was finished looking at the beautiful cave or the beautiful island of Calypso, he goes into her cave, but he did not see anything of the great Odysseus, right? But we're told by Homer as the narrator, but he's sitting apart from Calypso, as he has done 1,000 times before, because remember, he's been on this island for 7 years. And he racks his own heart, groaning with eyes wet with tears, looking at the horizon. So here, just through this characterization, we understand how much home means to Odysseus. So here we have another summary that cuts out a lot of the poetry of the book. But we get down to the point where Calypso tells Odysseus that she's going to let him go. And as we scroll down to the next page, we hear or we read their last conversation. And I kind of want to go over this with you because it really has some good evidence of the different elements we're looking for. First of all, we start off with an epithet, son of Laertes. Again, epithets, or what you can call in a positive phrase, is a group of words that is really a title that gives more info about the person they're describing. So they call him son of Laertes, and here again we learn that Laertes is Odysseus' father. We also see the title versatile, and versatile means that you can plan strategically. So just in that one adjective, we get a lot of description of Odysseus as a hero. But here, when Calypso's speaking to Odysseus, she says to him, if you could see all the adversity you're going to face at sea, trying to get home, you would stay here, right? You can be immortal. You could be a god. You could never die. But you want her. And when she says her, She means Penelope, Odysseus's wife. And that's who he truly longs to be with. He pines for her each day. She asks him, can I be less desirable than she is? Less interesting? Less beautiful? Can mortals compare with goddesses in grace and form? Now, when she asks this, this is an archetypal situation that many mortals will find themselves in when it comes to dealing with the gods and goddesses of ancient Greek and Roman times. They tend to pose a question which can be seen as a trap, because if Odysseus answers yes, then he's going to basically claim that his wife is more beautiful and better than a goddess. But if he answers no, he's being dishonest. But notice how Homer narrates this part. To this question, the strategist Odysseus answers. And notice what he says. My lady goddess, here is no cause for anger. So he appeases her anger. My quiet Penelope, how well I know, would seem a shade before your majesty. So she's as ugly as a ghost compared to you, all right? Penelope's quiet, whereas Calypso is majestic. Death and old age being unknown to you, while she must die. Notice the words that he uses here, letting Calypso understand that there might be a chance in the future, but he never says that. He chooses words to manipulate that point. And he says, yet it is true. What is true? Well, what's true is what she asked. Each day I long for home, long for the sight of home. He repeats home. He never says Penelope is his goal. And therefore, he answers her question truthfully, but in a way that doesn't get him in trouble. So Odysseus earns this name, the strategist, because he does strategically and with versatility plan a good answer that will allow him to get home without angering the goddess. So Calypso helps Odysseus, but notice more of the setting. 17 days he sails until he's in the sight of Scheria. Okay, and this is another place in the Mediterranean Sea. Then for 3 more days, he's pummeled by storms and finally swims for island. He makes it safely ashore and crawls under some bushes to hide himself. And notice, while he hid himself, Athena, right, some divine intervention again, helps him out. Showers him in sleep so his distress should end. And in quiet sleep, she sealed his cherished eyes. And so she takes care of him, okay? But notice the torture he had to go through, okay? Who's in charge of the sea? Poseidon. And why is Poseidon mad? Well, we're going to find out. That's a little review of part 1, book 5. I wanted to really go over it with you to really show you how Homer's words craft the definition of a hero, even in times when Odysseus is in great despair. That's it for this review, and we'll go on to the next assignment in just a little bit.